So yeah, okay, we can leave the outlier. I don't need outliers to make this argument because we're still on the issue of you calling them biological male, even though things that are biological, like hormones, can be changed. So if a hormone is if testosterone is a biologically male hormone, then the fact that it's subject to change would mean that your biology is subject to change in some way.
What do you mean subject? What do you mean subject to change?
As in
what does that mean?
As in you can change it. It's changeable.
Well, you can change it, right? So, how do you not get this?
Okay, so So it's very obvious to you, right, that chromosomes and your gametes and your gonads dictate your sex, right, your gender, right? That's what makes you a man or woman.
It's obvious to everybody. It's obvious to everybody who
okay.
transgender ideology.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do I know you're a man?
I can't get my computer to load, so I'll just use this. Let me go to a higher room in my house or something. Where are you at? You in Britain?
Mm-hmm.
England? What?
Yeah, I'm in Scotland.
Scotland. Oh,
that's
nice.
the good one, not the shit one.
You know, one of my favorite dudes is from Scotland. Gavin McInnes.
Is he Gavin McInnes, right? Okay, he's from Scotland. Okay, first of all, he's from Scotland in the sense that like people from America who have like one great granddad. No, that's okay. He can come here and I would love to see him like go into a Scottish pub and describe himself as Scottish. That would be so funny. Anyway,
yeah. Well, he's like a Canadian transplant. America. He loves America though. So
yeah,
I think he's gonna stay.
It's probably in people like that. Like for people like him, it's in their interest not to describe themselves as Scottish, at least if they come here.
Yeah, no. I think Scotland's like really left wing, isn't it? Or more than America, at least.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, most Western countries are more left wing than America, but yeah, Scotland is especially left wing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, most European countries, anyways. All right, so I can hear you a lot better. I just went upstairs, so.
Okay, so
what was I saying?
You were talking about biological men and women, and I asked you what exactly that means because I would have thought hormones are biological. You can change your hormones. So,
okay, and then
what exactly do you mean by what's a biological man?
Well, born as a man.
Why born? Why not? Why, if we're talking biological, being born is not just like the only element of biology. Biology changes a lot through your life. So why would you say biological?
Well, it can change. It can change, but it changes because you want to change it. Yeah. You either cut some stuff off or you inject yourself with some hormones, and you can change it, but that doesn't change the fact that you're born a man or born a woman.
So why would you say biological? Surely you would mean, I don't know, original man, or like assigned male at birth might be more accurate, because biological is not it's not a very useful term there.
I'm not going to use assigned male at birth, because when a baby comes out, it's not assigned. They just see it as what it is.
Well, if a baby's born in the middle of nowhere and no one's there to call it anything, then it's not being assigned. Then it's not going to be called anything, right?
Well, it's never really assigned something. It's just the doctor looks and makes a scientific, oh, that's a boy. Look, penis. That's a girl. There's a vagina.
Yeah, so they assign it based on the genitalia that they see, right? They assign it.
I mean, I guess semantically they assign it, but it just is what it is, dude. It's very easy.
Okay, if it's very easy, then why are you struggling
let's
with
say we're in the middle of
like
we're in the middle of a field, like you said, and whatever you observe a birth, and it comes out as a boy. I'm not assigning it. I'm just observing. Hey, that's a male.
But
I'm not assigning it anything. I'm just realizing a reality.
It's not
the world.
Okay, so the penis is the reality, but whether that penis falls under male or female, we decide that, right? These words were not handed down to us from the gods. We decide that. That's why it's assigned. Like in the same way that your name is assigned.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. That's good. But then, that gives leeway. Now you guys want to change it to mean, well, anyone who says they're a man is a man. Anyone who says they're a woman is a woman. And
well, I'm just trying to help you. First of all, before we get into changing anything, I'm just trying to help you with your argument. Your argument was that you can't change your sex, and you said biological sex, and I'm thinking biology is very broad. Biology is a lot of things, a lot of which can be changed.
Well, it is biologically a male, right? Like when you differentiate between like a trans man and a biological man, you usually use the term biological, correct?
You would say cisgender because cis is the
Or
opposite of
well, yeah,
trans.
that's
Yeah.
what we've come up
You
with
wouldn't say
now to,
biological because biology involves things that change. Like, I don't have the same biology as a trans man. I don't even have the same biology as a lot of cis men. So, like, we all have different biologies.
well,
That's
you keep
why I
going
was
back
trying
to
to
this
help
like, oh,
you.
we're not all the same, but generally it's a biological man. I think that's a pretty appropriate term.
Why is
I
it
mean, you can
appropriate?
like
But
break
so
down
our
the
hormone.
terms and stuff and like, I know lefties really like to like fiddle around with language and stuff, but I'm talking about reality. A biological man is a biological
So,
man.
is it not reality that testosterone is a male hormone? Would that not be accurate?
Yes, yeah,
So,
okay.
if it's a male
No, but
hormone
both
and you can
sexes
change
have
your hormones, then you're changing
testosterone
from.
and estrogen, right?
Yeah, that's why we say if you have like a predominantly testosterone system or predominantly estrogen.
Right, but both sexes both have both of the male and female hormone,
Yeah, and
right?
you can, yeah, so you can go, I mean, okay, you can also,
The
believe it or
hormones don't
not,
really go to the biology of a person.
if you found out you had ovaries, you would still call yourself a man, right?
Nah, I probably wouldn't.
Really? You've got your
I
balls,
would
you
be like,
can
oh
you
shit,
can
I thought
nut
I was a
and all
man
that.
this whole time, but I had ovaries.
Really?
Ah,
So
man,
ovaries dictate.
that sucks.
Are you
I
are
might
you
need to
memeing
buy a
right
pair
now?
or some high heels or something. What's that?
Can you not answer the question?
What was the question?
It's you know, it is perfectly possible for some people who go through their entire life as men, but
Oh
it turns
yes,
out they have
there's the
ovaries.
classic, yeah, the
So
classic intersex people,
So my question to
which is
you
like
is,
your
if you had
linchpin.
ovaries, you would probably still see yourself as a man. I don't think if you suddenly realized you had ovaries would stop you from being a man. I think that would be quite unfair, right?
Well, let's see. If I had ovaries, but I still had a penis because I thought I was a man, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so then I would say, wow, I'm an intersex person. I'm a one in a million kind of person, and I guess I'm neither a man or a woman. But in intersex cases,
Intersex
I
people
guess
are
you
about
can
two
pick
percent of
whatever
the
you want.
population, is it? Or
You know
one
what
in
I
a
mean?
thousand? Yeah, okay.
1 in 1,000, but most out of the 1 in 1,000 heavily tilt towards male or female.
Yeah, so
Is that
exactly.
not the case?
You would tilt towards male and female, which means if you had ovaries, you'd probably still feel like a man,
Right.
right? You wouldn't
Okay.
feel like less of a
So
man if you had
we get
ovaries.
like right. So we get like the outliers out of the way. That's fine.
Well,
But
we
now
don't,
you just
well,
want to say that because there's this outlier that exists, now we're just going to say, oh, any man can be a woman if he just declares it and injects himself. You don't even have to really inject yourself with hormones.
Well,
I mean, you can just say you're a woman and
before we get to
ta-da, you're a woman.
outliers, okay, before we get to outliers, I'm still
No, I want to move
struggling with your
past the
first
outliers.
argument.
That's like,
So
you know,
yeah, okay, we can leave the outlier. I don't need outliers to make this argument because we're still on the issue of you calling them biological male, even though things that are biological, like hormones, can be changed. So if if testosterone is a biologically male hormone, then the fact that it's subject to change would mean that your biology is subject to change in
well, what do
some
you mean
ways.
subject to what do you mean subject to change? What does that mean?
As in you can change it. It's
Well,
changeable.
you can change it, right? So if you're a man, you have low estrogen and high testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
can inject yourself with more estrogen, try to get your estrogen above your testosterone or whatever, but that doesn't change the fact that you are biologically a man.
Even though you've
Just
just
because you
injected
inject
yourself with biologically
yes,
female
correct.
hormones. Why not?
Correct.
But your biology's changed. You're
Why? Why
biologically,
would it? Why would injecting hormones into your body change you magically from a biological man to a biological female?
because your biology's changed.
Your biology's changed, but your
So
sex
why are
hasn't
you
changed.
calling it biological? Surely you mean like originally male, right? Or like maybe
Well, that encompasses
chronologically male?
biology. I
Yeah, that's a
no,
part of
not
biology. So
chronologically,
that's why biology
biologically
is,
male.
so biology is multidimensional then, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So why are you saying biological male when the biology can be changed? I think it's a really weird term to use, isn't it?
Well, it can be changed, but you're just if you just take your biology, I mean, you can tell a man from a woman. Well, like I said, you can inject anything you want, but that doesn't change. Um, that
Your
doesn't change you
biology?
from a man to a woman.
It literally changes your biology. It changes your hormonal makeup from a males to a females. And this is just
Yeah,
hormones,
but
right? This isn't even to
do you still
mention your
have a penis?
psychology. What?
Do you still have a penis?
You can change the tissue as much. Yeah, you can
Oh,
do that.
you can change the tissue, but is that a penis?
Well, they're made of the same tissue.
So a piece of your
Do
I
you
mean,
know how the penis is formed in the womb?
no, I don't.
It's like a bit of tissue that, depending on which hormones it gets washed with, I'm being very simplified here, becomes either a penis or a vagina. They're the same tissue.
Okay, so you turn like a penis inside out, and now it's a vagina.
Yeah.
Okay,
Functionally,
see,
socially, like
yeah,
physically, yeah.
functionally, really. Have you
Yeah.
heard about? Nah, I don't even want to go there. Anyways, it's not
We
it's
could
not a
talk about
vagina.
sex if you want.
It's an inside out penis. Let's be real about this. And like you're not gonna like change anybody's mind about it.
I feel like that's
Well,
been happening like quite consistently throughout the last decade. So yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
Respect for
you have
trans
to
people is a
acknowledge
lot
and
greater than it
stuff.
is right now than it used to be. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
people are.
yeah. Indoctrination works very well.
It doesn't take indoctrination. Like, why?
Of course it does. Well, we were talking about like internationally, like, oh, why doesn't China or Russia? Well, that's what I said. Why doesn't China or Russia believe any of this? And you know why? Because they're not indoctrinated into believing it.
Well, they're
Because it's
indoctrinated. You don't think
trans-
people in China are being indoctrinated about gender? You don't think Russians are indoctrinated about gender? You don't think Saudi
how are they
Arabians are
indoctrinated? Why they
indoctrinated
say,
about
oh, a
gender?
penis, that's a man. There you go. That's not indoctrination. That's fact. That's scientific fact.
You don't think these countries have
They just look at
indoctrination
things for
about
how they
gender?
are. They don't want to, change it and be like, well, anybody who really wants to be a woman can. You're taking like, you can, like I said, you can inject yourself with whatever you want. You're just a man now with very high estrogen,
So your
or you're a
biology's,
man
yeah,
with
with.
a inside out penis.
So even though you've said that estrogen is a like biologically female hormone and testosterone is a male hormone, but your levels of this, even if they change throughout your life, won't influence your biological sex, whether you're male or female.
Of course not. What are you
Why
kidding me?
not?
Why not? Because your your hormones don't really um,
They don't
make you a man or a woman. It's your
really. So
chromosomes
why is
and
testosterone? Is
it's your
testo-
sexual organs.
Okay, is
Your
testosterone
biological
not?
organs, not something you like made in Dr. Frankenstein's lab. You know what I'm
So
saying?
is testosterone not a male hormone then?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's like a predominantly male
It's a
hormone.
male hormone.
They have
Okay,
more
so what?
testosterone than women.
Yeah, because it's a male hormone, right? Okay,
Let me ask you something real quick.
go on.
If if I cut like slits in the side of my neck, does that make me a fish if I declare that to be so?
No,
There you go.
why? Can you breathe through these slits in your neck like underwater?
Can you make a baby with the new neo vagina?
I didn't know that vaginas were only intended for birth giving.
I didn't, dude. See, you see, I have to leapfrog around it.
No,
I mean, it's
sorry. Is the
I
only
just
function of a vagina first of all, babies are not formed
not
in
only,
vaginas. You
but
know.
predominantly,
Wait.
yes.
Where in a woman's body is a baby made? It's not in the vagina, right? You think
Okay, in the uterus, can you impregnate a trans woman through the vagina into the uterus?
so? Wait.
Can you transplant a uterus?
Are you talking
Oh,
about? Wait. You're asking about the ability to give birth, right? If a cis woman has a barren womb, is she not a woman then?
yeah, that's like a classic argument. Of course not.
She's not a woman if she has a barren womb.
No, of course. You said she isn't a woman if she has a barren womb. I said, of course not. Of course she's a woman.
Why? I thought you just used giving birth as a metric for someone's biological sex. If you can't
Well,
give birth out of it,
your
you
ability
just
to
said if
give
you
birth
can't give birth,
doesn't matter.
so if this
It's
vagina
how you
doesn't,
were
so
born.
wait. I just asked you about like a trans woman having a
I
vagina,
just
having their
asked you
penis
about
turned into a
gills, and
vagina.
you said no. If I cut slits into my neck and I call myself a fish, I'm not a fish, right?
Well, that's because we're talking about genders and social categories. A fish isn't like a social category, right? Like,
Well,
yeah, I
sure,
don't
but
think these are incompatible.
you're
We're
just
talking about
making woman
genders.
a
We're not
social
talking about
category.
species.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're making woman a social category, and you're taking away the reality of an actual woman.
Is woman
You're pretty much saying
what's
women
the
don't really
reality?
exist.
What's the reality
It's
of an
just
actual
something you
woman?
can throw on yourself.
What's the reality of an actual woman?
They're a born woman. They have XX chromosomes. You can tell by just looking at them that they're a woman. They have different skin. Their skin is more Their skin patterns are more circular, while men's are more diamond shaped. I
which
mean,
is
there's
influenced
so
by
many
hormones,
factors,
right?
but the main factor is your chromosomes, honestly,
If the main
and your
okay, if
gametes.
the main factor is your chromosomes, do you know how many different chromosomal makeups there are in people?
Yes, and that goes back to the exception to the rule. We don't make rules for exceptions. Like,
Really?
here, let me ask you this: how many arms do humans have?
No, I know what you're doing there. So the question is not whether it's like a rule or an exception. It's the question of sex being
How many
bimodal and
arms
not
are humans
binary.
born with?
Typically two. Okay. What do you think? Do
Typically,
you think
okay.
that's a gotcha on what
Well,
makes
yeah,
a man or a woman?
because of course it is. You can't. How do you not get this?
Okay, so are
It's
you
so
okay? Okay, so it's very obvious to you, right, that chromosomes and your gametes and your gonads dictate your sex, right? Your gender, right? That's what makes
well,
you a
it's
man or
obvious to
woman.
everybody. It's
Okay.
obvious to everybody who
Okay. Okay.
isn't
Okay.
bought into
Okay.
like
Okay.
a transgender
Okay.
ideology.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
of
do
course.
I know you're a man?
Because I sound like a man, I am a man.
You sound
Oh,
like a man.
but
You could be
trans
doing a
women
deep
can
voice.
sound like, or trans men can sound like men if they
They
just
absolutely
inject
can.
themselves with testosterone. Yeah,
Exactly.
but
So
that
how do
just
I know
makes
you're a
them a
man?
woman who wants to be a man.
Well, how do I know that's not you? According to your logic, how do I know that's not you? How do I know you're a man?
Well, I guess you don't. If you live in that like world where you can just change your sex at will or your gender at will,
No, I'm
then you
asking.
don't
I'm
know if I'm
asking
a real
according to
man or
no,
not.
no, 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 no. I'm
Right?
asking according to your system. Your system says that it's chromosomes, that it's your gametes, your gonads, your genitalia, what you were born as. You're
Yes,
saying that.
correct.
So I'm
Correct.
saying by following your rules, how do I know you're a
Yes,
man?
because I sound like a man.
Oh,
And
so
it's
now it's if you
and
sound like a
here
man.
you could here let me
Okay.
tell you. Let
Wait,
me
I
tell
thought
you.
you said gender wasn't
Yep.
about presentation. You mean the way you're
Can I tell you
presenting
real
to
quick
me?
and then I'll answer that because I needed to tell you. Most people, like I'd say 99, I'll just say 99% of people are just normal. They're just born, they're the same sex as they were and gender as they were at birth.
What does that prove?
So you'll go based on the percentages. You'll hear a manly sounding person and you'll say, "Yeah, that's a man." Because there's not many trans men. There's way more actual men than trans men. Would you
This is
agree with
so
that?
you've just changed your rules though. You've just added in what you sound like. I thought you said being a man was your gametes, your chromosomes, your genitals, what you were born as.
No.
Now you're
You
changing it
asked
to what you
me.
sound
No,
like.
listen, that's not what I said. You asked me how could you tell if I was a man?
Yeah. So how do I know that?
And I said because I sound like a man, and because there's way more actual men than trans men.
That
So, but
doesn't.
just by deduction of numbers, you would say, yeah, it's probably a man.
So how do I
And that's
how do I
exactly what you did.
how do I know
And
you're
that's
not a trans
exactly what
man?
you did, by the way. You heard my voice and you're like, well, you're a man.
How do I know you're
And that
not a
just
trans
proves my
man?
point.
How do I know you're not a trans man? Are you a
Do you
trans
think I'm a
man?
trans? Actually, you don't know. Do you think I'm a trans man?
Are you? You tell me.
Well, I don't think that's any of your business.
Okay.
But no, of
So I
course
don't
not.
know. Okay, of course. Okay,
Of
of
course
course not.
not.
So okay, so right. So how do I know you're a man according to your rules? Because now you've just said the sound of your
Yeah.
voice,
Listen,
but the
how did
sound of
you
your
know
voice doesn't
yeah.
distinguish you from a trans man or a woman or a cis woman with a very low voice. That's possible too, or someone with a voice altering software. So how do I know? According to your rules, my rules
Oh,
make it very easy.
they're getting creative with that, huh? They use the software too.
Yeah. So how do I know you're a man according to your rules? I haven't seen your chromosomes. You haven't
Well,
whipped
you
your knob
assumed
out
my
for me.
gender. You assumed my gender and you were correct.
So that's my rules, though. My rules are we decide someone's gender based on what they tell us. I know you're a man
And
according to my rules
yeah, okay.
because I asked you.
I
Your
think I can
rules
answer.
did not help me find out your gender.
Yeah, I think I can answer this like more clearly. I think I know what you're getting at. So like if I called somebody and they sounded like a man, right?
Mm.
And they're a trans man, I probably wouldn't even know that they weren't a man.
Yeah, and
I would just
apparently, and
I
according
would,
to you guys, these people are deluded and they might lie. So I gotta be really careful. Which is why
well,
your
they are
rules.
deluded. I mean,
Do you see
they're
how?
trying to change their sex.
Okay,
That's pretty
do
deluded
you
to
see
me.
how your rules have not been very helpful here, though? Because I didn't find out your
Oh,
gender.
they're very helpful.
I didn't find
They're
out your
very
gender
helpful
by
because like
asking about
just
your.
a real man is a man and a real woman is a woman.
Are you
I
done?
mean, you can change yourself and make yourself look like however you want, but you can't force other people to believe in your delusion.
What's the delusion? I just asked
That
you
a
what
man
your
can turn
gender was,
himself
and
into
you
a
told
woman?
me. That's all I've got. The only way I know you're a man is because you told me. I don't know because of your biological reality. I don't know
Well,
because of
you
your
knew because of my
chromosomes or your
voice too,
gametes.
and because of the fact that
Well, your voice
most
doesn't make you a cis man. Your voice can be your voice can make you can be a trans man with that voice. Okay.
I think my testicles and my penis also make me a man.
Wait, I haven't seen
But you
those,
but
and
you
I'm not.
can't
I
see
don't
that.
know.
You don't know
Please
if I
don't
have that or
exactly,
not, right?
exactly. That's why your system for determining someone's gender doesn't help.
It
Because
does help
if
though, because most
really,
people, yes.
if the penis makes you a man, how is someone supposed to know you're a man unless they see your penis?
What?
I'm just trying to use your model. Like you're the
I
one
don't
who
know what
said
you're
that.
trying to ask, dude.
You're the
It's
one
just
who said
it's
that your
obvious.
gender is
And
because
I already said the voice, dude. See,
what?
I think here's the problem
Well, the
that
voice would actually work in my favor
I
because
don't
I think gender is a combination of identity and presentation in social contexts.
sure. Can we
That
come
you're
to like an
supporting my
agreement
argument.
maybe? Maybe I can meet you somewhere. I
I
think
don't know if
people
you can, but you can try.
all right, I'm going to try anyways. I think people can do a really good job of making themselves sound, look, act, whatever, like the other gender. And that's completely fine. And you go ahead and do that. The thing is that you're not going to make me believe that you are now magically that gender.
It's not magic.
You get what I'm
What do you
saying?
think? What do you think? Yeah, okay. What do you think gender is, though?
I would say I would say gender is like a description of the sexes or maybe adjectives of the sexes. So you can say like there's a very feminine man over there. He like whatever. He likes to wear high heels or something, or he has long hair, or he talks,
How does that make you a feminine
high. He
man if
has a
it's a
high
description of
voice.
the
So
biological
that's
sexes?
a feminine man. Or you can look at a woman who has short hair, is like really good at sports, butch, I guess you would call it, and you could say that's a very masculine woman.
Okay.
But then it doesn't make that masculine woman a man, no matter how much she tries to transform herself.
No, no, okay.
She's always going to be a woman. She'll
You can
just be
leave
a
that
very
aside. You can leave
masculine
that
woman.
aside. Okay, I'm just want to ask you then. So you just said that gender was a description of what is of this description of sexual cards. Okay, but then you also said a feminine man would be one who wears heels and has long hair.
Right.
Are the heels and long hair, are those like biological? Are those biologically making you effeminate?
No, it's more like how you act, right?
So it's social, right?
Social, sure.
Like a and that's a kind of social thing that you can kind of change as well, because like it used to be that red was for, or that blue was for girls and pink was for boys, right? So it can change
I guess I've probably heard that before. I think
because of
heels were for
dyes.
dudes too.
Yeah, because red,
Right.
like red was a primary color, so yeah, and blue was supposed to be
Yeah.
passive and tranquil. So it
No,
sounds
I
like
got you
gender is a
there.
social construct that is subject to change, right? It's what we want it to be.
Right. Well, like I said, like somebody can like try to make themselves look, act like a woman. And I even said this in the chat. If I was in a social situation with a trans person, I would respect them and stuff, right? I would use their pronouns, whatever. They're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm never going to believe that they are a woman. You know what I mean? I'm always going to know that they were born a man and then they transitioned. And it's not going to make me
Well, they believe that
you
too.
you know what
They
I'm
will
saying?
probably believe that they were born a man and then they transitioned. Like they're like that's the thing is you said they were delusional. I was like, what are they delusional about? Like
Well, they
what
are
information do you
delusional.
have? So what
I'm,
information do you have about them that they're missing?
what do you mean?
Like a trans woman who is aware that they were born a man, that they transitioned. What information do you
Okay.
have that they're missing? What are they delusional about?
Well, they're delusional about the fact that they can be born a man and then just change to a woman.
Wait, what?
And
Like,
it really
come on.
it doesn't get
So let's say
really
you had to let's
important.
say you had to back that up to them though. Like you had to prove that. What would you point to?
W-
You're being
I'm,
that's
I'm
because
not
that's
sure what
very
you're
broad.
trying to ask me
Well,
there.
because that's very broad. You're saying, oh, they thought they could become a woman. Well, okay, like that's very like circular. You need to actually say you had to prove that to them. They said, okay, prove I'm not a woman. What would you say? What would you point them to?
I would just say you were born a man, weren't you? And they would say yes. And I would say, so you can't change
But you just
from a
used the
man
word
to a woman.
transition. You know the word transition means to change, right?
Well, when I look at transition, I don't think they're actually turning from a man to a woman. I think they're trying to look as much as a woman as possible and sound like a woman as possible. But I don't
So
think they're actually changing into a woman. I think it's a man who thinks they're a woman.
so if they're delusional about that though, like what exactly are they, what, like do you think they're missing like scientific information or what? Like what do you think they're lacking knowledge of?
Well, no,
Like
I think they have gender dysphoria,
they don't have to
or
have
they.
gender, not all of them have gender dysphoria. Not everyone who transitions or like
No, no,
has
I
gender
understand
dysphoria.
that, but I understand that, but I think the vast majority do. Is that not correct? Or
I have no idea exactly the numbers, but it's
I'm pretty
like it's
sure a
not
majority. I'm
necessary
not going
that
to
you
say a
have it.
vast majority. Just like I'm not going to say like elite grade helicopter.
It's also yeah. I heard that's a
Yeah,
wise
elite
move. All
grade.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
so
But
I
I'm
know
going to say
you're
the
a,
majority of them have. Go ahead.
no, it's fine. You go.
No, I was just going to say like I'm pretty sure the majority of them have gender dysphoria.
I've got one more question. Since the biology is very important to you, if I said because you put the outliers thing to aside. Why do you think the
Yeah.
outliers are important, or they're not important?
Yeah,
What does
I
that
don't
mean to
think they're
you?
important. I don't think they're important because we're dictating language and we're like dictating like scientific fact. There's an outlier. Like I would say there's man, woman, and then intersex, right? So
Hmm.
that's right there. It's just done with. You know what I mean? I think you use the outliers to say, well, look, there's not a true binary, so that means anyone can be anything.
Do
And
you
I
think
just
there's
don't
a
think that's like very scientific.
Do you
Do
think
you know
there's
what
a
I'm saying?
Do you think there's a true binary?
Well, I just said I think there's man, woman, and intersex, but the intersex people are mostly towards a man or a woman. But like I said, it's an outlier, so we shouldn't make like scientific rulings on an outlier.
Well, you
So
absolutely would make some. You would make the scientific ruling that it's not binary, wouldn't you? You'd say it was bimodal rather than binary because of the exceptions. You can't have a binary and then to have like a
can
third
you
thing.
explain to me? I've heard the term bimodal before. Can you explain to me what that means?
All right. So bimodal is like your two arms example, right? So what you would say is the majority of people will fall mostly under like biologically they'll fall under male or female, but because of that middle ground, I think it's like I think it's 2% of the population. Some people are saying, which would be 1 in 50. Like that's a lot of people. But that would mean that
See,
it's
I know
like
more than 50 people, and not one of them is like intersex.
okay,
But
well
I
that's
could,
yeah.
it could be like I
But the
don't
point
know
is, you
that
don't
they're
know.
intersex
Yeah,
or
you
not.
don't check because
Right,
most of us go through our entire lives not knowing what our chromosomes are, or
right.
even our. Some people don't even know about whether their gonads or gametes are functional. So yeah, the point is, if you are with a binary, if I give you a page of binary, right, ones and zeros, right, that's binary.
Right.
Okay, if you have a bunch of things in there that look kind of like ones and kind of like zeros, then it stops being binary. That wouldn't work, right? If there was like a kind of a one and then there was a kind
Right,
of a
like there's a
zero.
7 jammed in there, now there's 3 different things.
Yeah, and that's what bimodal is. So bimodal is like a two-humped camel, whereas binary is just one or the other.
Sure, so, I mean, I still think sex is, for the most part, binary. I mean, most people are either man or
No,
woman.
wait, it's not for them.
There are
You wouldn't say if
exceptions.
you had a page. So if you had a page of binary and it was full of like had the odd three or like a zero-ish one, and then you said, "Well, this is still mostly binary." Well, no, it's not. It's not binary. Binary means one or zero. That's it. So it's not
Yeah,
binary.
but but in the majority of cases, you wouldn't have a page that has, like, like a 7 jammed in there because most people are either man or woman.
Yeah, so that would be
You know what I'm
that
saying?
would be bimodal. Yeah.
Right, but most of the time, like, throughout your daily life, things are bimodal. Like, even in the trans community, most of them are either I know there's non-binary people, but most of them are either, change from man to woman or woman to man. So it's
Hmm.
still there's still like a big binary there. It's like mostly based on the either or.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but yeah,
saying?
the whole most thing is what bimodal means, though. Bimodal means there are two like majority points, and then there's the hazy middle ground in between. Yeah,
Sure.
I always find it
No,
really
I
hard that people
understand that.
find it difficult to accept that, but yeah, I guess you're not one of them. Um,
No, I understand that definitely.
okay, listen, take care. All right,
All right, take it easy.
bye.